Yo, what's up guys? Daniel here. Today I'm bringing you a PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 controller overview. We're going to go over all of the buttons on the controller, how it feels in the hand, and then we're going to compare it to an Xbox 360 controller, a PlayStation 3 controller, and an Ouya controller, and a Wii U tablet, just for size comparisons, and we have a PS Vita as well, just to give you guys kind of a general feel for how it's going to look, feel, work. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, let's pick up the controller. So you can see on the front you got the touchpad there, the thumbsticks. It's a pretty standard controller. Now some differences that you may have heard about: the share button and the options button rather than start and select. The touchpad is the real main difference on the front besides the speaker. Now this speaker is really cool. So it does function as the speaker for certain things in game. In Killzone, when you pick up audio logs, it'll play out of the speaker. In Resogun, when you save the human, or when it says save the last human, it'll play it out of this as well. You can tell it not to play audio, or it can come out of the MP3 jack right there. So as far as the front goes, though, it's a pretty standard controller other than the touchpad and speaker. Now down here we do have the microphone, and I believe that's for keyboards, EXT, I don't know, extra stuff, I don't know. They haven't really shown off exactly what's going to go in there, but most likely it's just going to be for other accessories. But that's pretty much it on the bottom. Now on the back we have the controller, a really nice rubberized grip back here, the Sony sticker with the serial number for the controller, a couple screws. Then we go this way, we have a micro USB charging cable, which is very nice because the PlayStation 3 used a mini USB, which was less common. Micro USB, every Android smartphone works with it. Sorry about the lack of focus, my camera is kind of spazzing out right now, I guess. Let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. Kind of. There we go. And then you have the light bar right there. When you're playing games, or when that turns on, you can see it blinks. It's multicolor, so developers can have it set to whatever they want. In Killzone, it'll change color based on health. When Dying Light comes out, it will actually light up bright white when you turn on the flashlight in-game, which is going to be really cool. So just that extra little bit of immersion. It's not really something you're going to be looking for, the light-wise, but if you do glance down and see it, or your peripheral vision picks it up, it just helps with that immersion process. Then we have the R1, L1, and then the L2 and R2. Now if you look right there, you can see these triggers go out rather than in, which is a very, very dramatic improvement over the PS3s. They feel way better in the hand and way better to use. Now specific things you can see with the thumbsticks, they are much different in design. Once this focuses, sorry about that. Okay, but yeah, you can see that they are much different in design from the normal ones. Let's grab a PS3 controller for comparison's sake. So you can see that you have the different thumbsticks. Let's actually put them this way. Another thing that I wanted to show, they are wider apart. So if you line them up evenly on that edge, you'll see that it sticks out a bit there. So the thumbsticks are wider on the DualShock 4, which works out really well for some people. Size-wise, though, the rest of the controller, as you can see, it's relatively the same thickness. All around, it's pretty similar in size. Triggers are a little thinner on the PS4 controller. But besides that, it is very similar. Now, let's compare it to an Xbox controller, because for a while, the Xbox controller was considered king of controllers. Now, a lot of people are starting to say, maybe it's this PS4 controller. This thing does feel amazing in the hand. Now, it's something that we can't really show on video how well it feels, but if you know someone that has a PS4, I definitely recommend trying this out in person and actually playing games with it. It feels really good to play games with. Now, if you do have larger hands, you'll notice I have pretty small hands, then the DualShock 4 might not be the best fit for you, but in reality, if you just, instead of holding it all the way up, if you lower your hand just like a quarter of an inch or so, you should be fine for most people. But let's put that actually down there. And then we'll put the Xbox controller next to it just so you can kind of see both side by side. And then above that, we'll go ahead and put the PS3 controller. And then above the Xbox controller, we'll go ahead and put an Ouya controller. I'm not going to really go over the comparison because most people don't know what an Ouya controller feels like in the hand. So it wouldn't be a good point of reference as far as actual, physical comparison. But they both do have touchpads, so on that aspect, they're very similar. But that's about it as far as similarity goes. And then the last thing that I wanted to compare it to, actually 2 more things. Let's get all this out of the way. So for those of you that have seen the PlayStation Vita, would help if I put that in frame. You'll be able to see that the DualShock 4 at its widest point is still not as wide as a Vita. Thumbsticks are much closer together. It's set up to be a controller, not a portable game system, so it's going to have those differences. But just for size comparison wise, you can see it's a little less width-wise than a Vita at its widest. At the thumbstick point, it's the center of each thumbstick is probably a quarter of the way into the screen. So if you do have a Vita, put your hands somewhere around a quarter to each side of the screen, right there, and you'll be able to kind of get a general feel for where the thumbsticks are located. So there's that. And then the last thing we're going to compare this to is the gigantuish Wii U controller. Now, the Wii U controller is terrible fingerprint magnet, as you can see on screen. But, just for size comparison, I wanted to give you guys a good general feel. I know not everyone has every game system, so this way you have some point of reference you can try out. Another good point of reference as far as size, let's compare some of its dimensions to an HTC One. From width, you can see it is, I'm not going to put all of the HTC One in frame, I just want to get some of it just so you have that general comparison. So there you go. Pretty good in size compared to the HTC One. Now obviously the HTC One is going to be thinner, it's not going to be as ergonomic, but just wanted to kind of show width-wise, because that was one thing a lot of people, especially width of the thumbsticks, while it doesn't look like compared to the PS3 controller that it was a large difference, it really does feel much, much better in the hand when you're playing. I don't know if that is just in part to the width, or if, the difference in the thumbstick style has a lot to do with that as well. As far as the width goes, though, it does feel a little better. So I would highly recommend getting hands on, though. That's going to be your best overall experience for getting to try that out. And that's pretty much going to be it for more on PS4, including a system overview, some live streaming, and game overviews and reviews. Please subscribe to my channel up top. And if you did enjoy this video, if you were interested in the PS4, please leave a like, let me know. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.